Hey guys, hope you're well. Thought that I would walk you through a couple of new ways that I've been using Airtable. I've kind of significantly changed a couple of our kind of workflows and processes around our teams using Airtable's interfaces feature, which I have spoken about a little bit before. But I do find that I'm just continuing to use it like more and more within my like literally every single day I've been using it, and I've kind of built our team on top of it. So I'll jump straight into like an Airtable database, for example. This is technically a live database that we use, but I've just filled it in with dummy data. So these are slave accounts, Instagram accounts, where normally here would be the username and here would be the bio. But just to kind of keep things a little bit anonymous, I've just input a load of dummy data here for now. And so I'll just like walk you through the table, I guess, to start off with. As I mentioned, this would be an Instagram username, and we're using these accounts for dating apps. So we are generating for every single, we have a list of target locations, and we prioritize based on the population. We have a list of target locations that we are putting creators in. And for every single one of these locations, each creator is going to have their own specific Instagram account that is targeted to that location. So we have a relational database here, and you can see we can just pick off a location from there and assign it to that account. And so, as I mentioned, every single location has its own unique Instagram. And the reason that we do that is so that the entire funnel can be completely tailored to the end user. So let's say that we have a Bumble account in Zurich. Rather than funneling that lead over to like a generic Instagram page, we push them over to an Instagram page that is completely tailored to that specific location. So we have let's say a Bumble account in Zurich that is doing swiping. That is then pushed over to an Instagram that is assigned specifically to Zurich. We can have pictures of Zurich in the bio. It's going to say that she's based in Zurich, or maybe that she's attending a local university, or working at a space that is specific to Zurich. So, of course, this does mean that we go through quite a few more steps in order to put this together. But yeah, and this is just like basically an Instagram scraping database where we have the device, meaning the phone that it's logged into, the followers, the age of the account, how many posts the account has, the link that's there, the login details for the team. And then we're also using AI to write a suggested bio, which our team will then go and kind of input into that. We also log whether we bought followers or not. And as well here, we have the follower to following ratio because we want to make sure that that ratio is very healthy. Here, we then have a number of different formulas and different checks that are going on. So these are essentially checking, is it a high quality username? Is there a link to Linktree? Because we're no longer using Linktree. We had some old accounts that still had links to Linktree that we needed to check. Is it a healthy follower to following ratio? Does the bio contain the location that we're in? So, and I'll just show you how we're doing it. So, does bio contain location? Location, this account is currently assigned to Zurich, which we saw earlier somewhere along here. And then we're just doing a search. Does it exist within there? So if it does, then it will get a check mark. If it doesn't, it will return an X. And does the bio match the suggested bio? So has it been updated, or is there something old? And the output of this is that we generate an account rating. So if all of these scores come back as true, or they have a check mark in it, meaning true, if it passes all of these tests, we give it a 5-star rating. And again, this is done automatically. It's all done through formulas. So the whole kind of goal here is that we have multiple checks that are running all automatically to qualify whether an account is a high quality Instagram. The reason for it to be a high quality Instagram is because it's going to lead to a higher trust score and more conversion rates. So a high quality Instagram is going to be It has a bio that matches the location. It has more than 24 posts. Sorry, it has 24 or more posts on it. It has more than 1,000 followers. It has a healthy follower to following ratio. It has the correct link on it. It has a profile picture. And they're basically like the main kind of checks that we have. And that will result in a 5-star rating. But of course, it sounds quite easy to do, but when you're kind of doing this at scale, things go wrong, accounts get left behind, things aren't added in properly, there's spelling mistakes, accounts get assigned to the wrong location, particularly as we kind of migrated onto this system, and we had to change like a lot of accounts around. There were kind of things that turned into like a bit of a mess. And so I'm just going to walk you through like this. Now you kind of see like the general structure of our database. We have a lot of other fields in there as well that are hidden, but this is like the general core things related to us generating one-to-one Instagram accounts for each one of our dating apps. And bearing in mind, for some people, they'll be thinking this is a lot of effort to go through. You're only going through this effort once, and then you have an account that is made in Zurich that you can use for the kind of entire lifetime of however long you do dating apps. When the account is banned, you can just remake another account within Zurich. And remember, it's not just limited to one dating app as well. So we can then set up a Tinder account in Zurich, Badoo, Happen, like any number of other dating apps that you want. And then, like, you know, I've worked on Airtable like for years now, I think, as everyone knows. And the one negative thing about Airtable, it's very rare for me to complain about Airtable. The one thing that I dislike is that in order to have kind of flexibility over the editing of even what views are visible to people and what is able to be changed, you need like enterprise level features, or you need to block off a field to be edited from your team entirely, which is slightly annoying. And so we had a situation last week where just purely by accident, but an employee just wasn't aware, and they made a load of changes within the database, which broke a load of things that we were doing. And so this is kind of a solution that I've come up with. So I've kind of run through already what are the core things that we're looking out for. And on the left-hand side here, you can see various different views that are either red or orange. And I do add in a few green ones as well. What they're in reference to is red means it's something that is critical. So every single day we go and check Instagram followers of accounts. Right now, again, this is just dummy data, but it was a live database up until a few minutes ago. These accounts were not able to be found. So it means that the usernames that were here, maybe they weren't correct, maybe they've been banned, maybe there was a problem with the scraper, whatever it may be. However, it's considered a critical issue because these accounts are being used in a live environment. Maybe they're attached to a Bumble account now that is doing swiping. And if we're not able to check the followers of this account, it means that maybe it's been banned and other people can't find it, which means that we're pushing traffic into literally nowhere. So this is considered a critical issue. Low followers, also a critical issue. Low following, a critical issue. If we had an account that was like 5,000 followers, but is not following anyone or only following a few people, it means the account isn't trusted, it looks low quality, and it's more likely that we will be reported and banned on Bumble. So self-explanatory, but you see all of like our critical issues. These are things that need to be fixed as a matter of urgency. Low quality username. These are issues that kind of need to be fixed, but just you prioritize everything in red. So let me just go ahead and translate this immediately over to Instagram monitoring, which is our main dashboard. So the way that these Airtable interfaces work, I really love them. You can literally copy the settings from a view. So I've made all the views already. I can just click that and copy the settings, and automatically this is going to tell me I've got 19 accounts in that view that need activity on them. So we have 19 accounts today that we weren't able to find. We have 21 accounts that have low followers, 20 accounts with low following. And bearing in mind, I've just built this, but the ideal thing is that you have all of these at 0. And when something does appear in here, it needs to be like gotten onto straight away because it's a critical issue. Bio has wrong location. That seems like a very... it's because I changed all of the bios to give template bios. Anyway, that's not actually genuine. So yeah, you can see all the critical issues here. And then the thing that is so great about interfaces is now I have a very easy way for them to be solved. So I can make another interface here where if an account is low followers, it means that they can just come into this view. All these accounts that you see on the left-hand side, again, I'll just come in here and we can copy the filters from the view of low followers and it will pull them in here. And this is saying to our team that we need to buy followers. And by the way, it also tells you what all of the issues are there. So once they have the phone in their hand, they can just run through and fix all of these issues. Once it has been fixed, they can click this button. And this is what I often talk about mixing together the kind of skill set of humans and automation. They can just click this button here and it will trigger an automation to go and check the account. And it will update all the information in Airtable automatically. So right now in the room just next door to me, we have someone who is assigned into this view of going through low followers and just buying followers and then pressing the check button to update it. And that will then be referenced in our monitoring dashboard. Again, this all happens automatically. The team simply just need to be able to have somewhere to execute from. So the other kind of great thing about this is this can be we can kind of build a standard operating procedure that is interactive. So the thing that I find annoying about SOPs is they're a little somewhat disconnected from kind of where you're actually working from. However, this is literally Airtable data embedded on a dashboard. It's interactive. Here's a bio. We can choose to make the field editable or view only. So if we want people to be able to interact with the Airtable database from this interface, we can do, or we can just lock off any fields that we want by making them view only. From within this dashboard as well, I can literally write out a standard operating procedure of this is what we want done. These are your instructions. So they don't need to go and check a different document in Notion or Craft or wherever you're writing out your SOPs. They can kind of just come in here and see the instructions. The bio is written by AI. It doesn't always come out perfectly. That's kind of one thing to be clear on as well. As much as I love GPT and AI, when it comes to writing Instagram bios and a lot of different stuff, in 80% of cases, it can do very well. But then there's 20% of cases where something goes wrong. So all of the suggested bios are written automatically. But still, we just want them to be like checked over by the team. Does it sound good? Does it contain an emoji on each line? Does it contain the location or university? Is the bio too short? Sorry, is the bio short? Because that was the other thing GPT was doing, is it was spitting out these huge bios. And we would say make it shorter, but it would kind of, it just wouldn't sound that great, basically. So we just want a human to go over it and quickly just verify, yeah, this fits within what we're trying to do. Does it sound like a real person? Make sure that there's no spelling mistakes. And so we can kind of make these as complex as we want. Like as another one, we have a process here. We operate on two different databases. So I'm just literally just writing out instructions. The bot couldn't find this account in our other Airtable database. Check the account exists in Digify, check the phone number of the account it's logged into, add the phone number below. And they can just literally write the phone 55. Once it's written, this will then be hidden and they just move on to the next one. So instead of giving someone access to like working from a database here, where you have like tons of different fields, something can be changed incorrectly, things can go wrong. You can just build such streamlined processes within Airtable interfaces, just as ways to kind of manage your data. And so, yeah, I haven't really seen many people kind of talking about this stuff or even using it. I didn't even go that deeply into it until recently. As most of you know, mostly my work is focused on automation through code and through kind of humans rather than building out like human processes and so on. However, recently, just to explain a little bit about one project that we're working on, we're building out a Bumble Farm. So we have built out, not myself, I can't take credit for this one. I'm working with a developer out here, and he has built out a bot that operates on mobile devices. We're currently automating Bumble. And when I say automating, I don't mean using switch control or some of these like other things that you may have seen. I mean, this is essentially end-to-end automation, where we create accounts, we plug them into the system. It's completely custom-built software. Everything is custom-built from scratch, and it will handle swiping. It will also do messaging or to the clients, contextual messaging. So if it's Friday, it will say, hey, what are you up to? What are your plans for this weekend? Or if it's Monday, how's your Monday going? Completely in reference to the day of the week it is, to again try to make it sound as real as possible. And it will literally have conversations with these guys. It will check that Instagram is on there, that the Instagram is correct. If it isn't, it will add it in. So it will rewrite the bio. And we also have bots built out for Tinder, for Badoo, for TikTok as well. And these bots are operating on iOS devices. I haven't come across anything like this. If someone is doing something similar, of course, I'd be very interested to chat with you. I've seen some people doing some things on Android who are doing quite well, but this is like literally the first system of its kind that I've ever come across. So it's a very interesting thing to build out, and we're just rolling out on TikTok today as well, by the way, doing mass reposting on TikTok through mobile devices using bots, whereas up until this day, and still to this day, we are using humans. And so the reason that we're kind of migrating over to this is because in order to generate, for example, from dating apps, for us to generate about $500,000 per month, it would need a team of about 240 people. And that's not out of the question, bearing in mind that's 240 people in Georgia where salaries are much cheaper. So it would still be a highly profitable business. However, I've managed big teams before. We managed about 140 or 150 people in my old company that I sold. And to be completely honest, it was a headache. And it's not something that I kind of really... I don't really enjoy managing big teams. I like kind of lean teams, working with smart people. And then we can also kind of just build out things like this for the manual processes that do need to be handled. We can build out Airtable interfaces. And literally, like right now, as I'm doing this, just as I mentioned in the room next door, there's a person that is assigned to each of these views that is going through each of the issues and resolving them to bring down any issues that we have in our kind of monitoring dashboard to bring all of these down to zero, essentially. I'm just trying to remember what... just to show you a monitoring dashboard, was it? Yeah. So this is like the monitoring dashboard. And so then the other thing I forgot to show you down here is, so here we have like all the critical issues up the top. Then we have the lower quality issues at the bottom. And then down here, we have in green, like the progress monitoring. I'm not sure why that's just broken. But anyway, this builds like a pie chart based on the accounts. We've only got one. It must be because because I changed all the bios. That's why. So this builds a pie chart showing you how many of our accounts are in like a 5-star status. So up the back there, it's not going to zoom. Anyway, on the TV up the back there, I have like a high-level monitoring dashboard, this one that you're looking at here, so I can see everything that's kind of going on. And yeah, it just when you're kind of building out teams, and again, here we're talking about building out human processes instead of building out automations. I really think this is like a nice way to structure your business. You have high-level dashboards that give you like an overview exactly like this of everything that's going on and what is taking place within your business. Bearing in mind, this is just for Instagram. So we also have this for managing our locations, managing our Bumble accounts. And right now we're just focused on Bumble. For no real reason, then I prefer not to tackle too many problems at once, because if you spread yourself too thinly, you end up doing nothing, which I know from experience. So right now we're just focusing really on tackling Bumble. And then we will be kind of moving on and just kind of copying and pasting all of our workflows onto these other things. So once we figure everything out with one platform, it's really quite simple to kind of move everything across. So each kind of department, let's say, within our organization can have its own high-level monitoring dashboard of what are the critical things for this department. In progress monitoring, what do we define as success for this department? And basically I can just have on a big TV behind me making sure all the critical things are at zero or we're in like a good range, making sure issue monitoring is as low as possible, and making sure everything in progress monitoring is as high as possible. So I can have an overview of my entire organization, of all of the different departments within our organization very easily. And any issues that occur within the organization is very, very easy for the team to solve, because the rule that we have is it has to have an interface assigned to it. So if there's an issue, someone can just come in here and it has the instructions on what they need to do in order to solve that problem. It cannot be more simple. And so, yeah, this like I've just kind of moved on to this system. I've built out this system myself, by the way. I don't also pretend to be like an expert in human processes, but I'm literally just sharing it because this is something that has been working well for me, that we have just built out and implemented, and we're now able to solve problems like 100 times faster because they're just able to go through things so quickly. So yeah, I guess this is just a suggested, like, hopefully some inspiration on another way that you can use Airtable, and just shedding some light on Airtable Interfaces, which I think is like a highly underutilized feature. Like, we can build out custom databases. We can build in buttons if we wanted to link into like a dashboard, or to like whatever page you want. If you had like an internal dashboard or like a standard operating procedure that you wanted to link to, we can also add in text and kind of write anything out here. And we can get rid of that. We can also write out like checkboxes. So these are your instructions. And once it's done on that record, they just tick it off. And again, just to kind of make sure that everything kind of is working as it should be. So like I said, we're really trying to scale this out, whilst keeping as small of a team as possible. So we've kind of run some calculations, and with about 1,000 Bumble accounts, we would be able to generate about 400 to 500K per month in revenue based off of our like current metrics. So we're just in a process of figuring out how we can really kind of scale this as much as possible, and that's before we even look at adding in like other dating apps such as Tinder, Bumble, and also our like TikTok reposting, that I'm hoping that we will kind of launch today. So that's been the reason for like a shortage of videos, let's say, from my front, because I don't consider myself to be a YouTuber, or anything else aside from a businessman. Like, this is what I do. This is really what I enjoy doing. And then whenever I have some time, or I feel that I have something interesting to share, like today, I like putting a video together about it. I don't like putting together, I need to feel some kind of inspiration to put a video together. Like, I have something interesting to share. I don't like putting, not to call anyone out, but let's just say, like, I see a lot of other people doing, just like literally just sharing that something isn't working isn't value. But anyway, we won't get into that. So yeah, speaking of value, I hope that you did find some value in this video. And yeah, I strongly suggest you to play around with like Airtable interfaces for using things like VAs and so on. It becomes really easy to onboard people. Like, we have new employees who are starting, and rather than needing to kind of explain everything of all the different fields in Airtable, you put them on an interface. The instructions are written there. They only have access to the fields that they need to have access to, and someone can just kind of hit the ground running with an Airtable interface. So really, really great tool that I've been using kind of more and more recently, and strongly encourage all of you to look into.